Hey guys, welcome to my legal classes. This is Ganesh Pujari and we were discussing about the Industrial Dispute Act 1947, and in this lecture I am going to give all focus on the objects of Industrial Dispute Act. I have listed as many as 14 objects in my first slide, and then I have discussed one of the important case law which is being discussed by Supreme Court to decide what are the major objects of the Industrial Dispute Act. That way it becomes a comprehensive video. With that, I am taking you to the first slide. The first and foremost objective of the Industrial Dispute Act is to maintain industrial harmony. With lot of mechanism, it ensures that there is industrial harmony available. That is the first object, and then it also ensures the economic justice of the workman or the employee. It provides safety and continuity to their employment. That way it ensures that there is economic justice. Third one is better working condition and decent standard of life to the workmen so that the employers are not misutilizing their labor force. That is the third object. And fourth one, to avoid or to reduce the interruptions. Now we cannot say we can 100% avoid. Sometimes it also helps to reduce the interruptions like the strikes or layoffs or retrenchment or lockout, or finally it can be a closure also, and it gives a structural aspect to all of these concepts to avoid or reduce them. There are a lot of mechanisms introduced through this act to ensure that there is industrial harmony, and those mechanisms I have discussed under serial number 5, 6 and 7. Now 5 discusses about the works committee. Then there are provisions for industrial dispute investigation via court of inquiry, and there are opportunities for 3-tier system with the labor courts, industrial tribunals and national tribunals. All of them are the major parts came into existence because of ID Act, which has the objective of managing industrial peace and harmony. The 8th object is to impose prohibition on commencement or continuation of strike and lockout during specified period. I am going to discuss on those specified period in my future session. That will be my next class. And the 9th one is to provide for payment of compensation in case of layoff, retrenchment and closure. You cannot just like that say that your workman go out of your company while doing any kind of retrenchment or layoff or closure, because there are provisions related to them in the ID Act, and that is one of the important object of this particular act. And it also defines and prohibits the unfair labor practices. Along with that, it brings the dispute resolution system like negotiation, conciliation, arbitration, etc. The 12th object of Industrial Dispute Act is to protect both public as well as private sectors, and it also strengthens the collective bargaining. And finally, the first and the last important object of the ID Act is to ensure that there is peaceful industrial relation. I have mentioned industrial harmony in the first point, and in the last point I have again mentioned peaceful industrial relations. It is the start and it is the end of this particular act. Now it gives opportunity to everyone, but you have to follow the provisions. As a workman, if you want to do strike, you can do the strike, but follow the procedure. Otherwise, you will get punishment. Likewise, as an employer, if you want to do lockout, you can do that. But if you do illegal lockout, then you will end up paying compensation to your workman. Likewise, there are provisions given, and when you are following it very neatly, there are no issues to you. Otherwise, it may be the employee or the employer, they are going to face the implications. By having such structured provisions, it ensures that there is industrial harmony available among the industries, and that's the beauty of this particular act. The primary object test of Industrial Dispute Act was done by Supreme Court in the case law of the workmen of Dimakuchi Tea Estate versus the management of Dimakuchi Tea Estate. Here in this case law, Supreme Court observed that the ID Act is to promote smooth and healthy relationship between employer and employee. It enables investigating and settlement of industrial disputes. It prevents illegal strikes and lockouts. It ensures relief to workmen in case of layoff, retrenchment and closure of industry. It provides opportunity for collective bargaining. It ensures industrial peace and harmony. It protects workmen from unfair labor practices, and it provides opportunity for collective bargaining for reasonable demands of workmen. That is what observed by Supreme Court in the case law of the workmen of Dimakuchi Tea Estate versus the management of Dimakuchi Tea Estate. 14 important objects along with the case law. I hope that gives sufficient content for you guys to answer your question on the objects of Industrial Dispute Act. With that, I am signing off from this particular session. In my next class, I am going to deal with the features of Industrial Dispute Act. Till then, thank you so much for subscribing my channel. Please like, share and comment my videos. All the very best for whatsoever purpose you are referring my channel, and thanks again.